Hi guys, and welcome in the next video. So today I want to talk a little bit about the KUKA robot cabinet. So I want to talk about what's inside the robot cabinet, what are the most important items, and then I want to kind of explain to you how those items refer to the work visual project that you create or the work visual project that you open, and in case you change something, how that will affect the work visual project. So you get common understanding about how the robot cabinet and the work visual project kind of tie together. So I hope you're going to enjoy the video, and let's get started.
5, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Alright, so what you can see right now is basically the front of the robot cabinet and what is in here. So right here you can see the mains filter. So basically that's like the filter for the voltage to, let's say, clean up the voltage. Right next to it, or actually above it, we have the main switch. So this is the item that you use to turn the robot on or turn the robot off. Right next to it, on the right hand side, you have the CSP. So the CSP stands for Controller System Panel. So basically, this is a panel where information is being displayed. There are 6 LEDs, and depending on the controller state, you can see if the controller is powered on, hibernated, or perhaps have some errors during the boot up, or there is an error on the robot. Underneath the flap, you will have usually 3 connections, 2 USB ports, or 1 service port where you can plug RJ45, the Ethernet connection. And the last thing we can see here is the KUKA SmartPad, or as I call it, or others call it, KCP. Alright, as we go further, we have the handle right here. So we use this handle basically to open cabinet and to see what is inside. And that's what's going to happen next. So let's open the cabinet and let's take a look what do we have inside the cabinet. So let's go one by one. So the most important thing can be seen on the top, and those are basically the drive controllers. And if you look from your left-hand side, you will have the drive controllers from axis 1 to 3, and then 4 to 6, and then any external axis if there are any. On the right-hand side of the screen, so right here, what you can see basically, this is the brake filter. As we go further, right underneath the filter, right here, we have the CCU. So of course, you're probably wondering what the CCU stands for. So that's the Cabinet Control Unit. So there are basically all of the connection for the batteries and connections that go to the KPC, which we're going to see in a second. Those are located over there, as well as in the back, you can see that there are fuses. So if you're looking for the fuses inside the KUKA control cabinet, they are located over there in the back. As we go further, so basically at the bottom of the cabinet, right here is your connection panel. So that's where you're going to connect all of your network inputs, 24 volts system cables, power cables, your touch pendant cable, and any extra options that you might have purchased with the controller. There are 2 more things that are not described on the picture that's on the left-hand side, but you might have them in your controller. So right here you have the 24 volt power supply unit, and on the left side you have a switch. So basically that's where your KLI connection goes to. So that's a switch that connects to the cables that you can see at the bottom of the picture. So that's basically RJ45 to M12 connector, and you're able to connect your devices right to it, and the robots can see all of the devices on the network. Right here, there are quite a few connections here. So first one on the left is called KCB. So in case you're wondering what that stands for, it stands for KUKA Control bus. Then right next to it, we have KSB, which stands for KUKA system bus. And then probably the two most important connections for you is the KLI. So basically the KLI is the KUKA line interface. So that's the cable that in our case is going to the switch. And that's the actually cable where you would like to connect to the robot if you want to connect manually. So you can plug it either into the KLI port or to the service port that's in the front of the controller. And right next to KLI, we have our KONI port. So that's for KUKA optional network interface. So that's basically additional network that you can have. It requires a special software option. So you need to purchase a KOP that is going to allow you to use that port. But basically the KLI will connect to the switch, and everything in the network that's plugged to the switch will be going into the KLI. However, KONI is a separate port, so basically there's a separate network. So if you want to separate two networks on the KUKA, you might want to think about KLI and KONI. Then behind it, you can see basically a connections for a monitor. So in case you need to connect external monitor, you have two ports for that. And then one more thing that you can see are the USB ports. So in case you want to do an auto backups or you want to keep an USB inside, you can use those ports. Of course, you can always use the ports that were located in the front of the controller. All right. So for purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to create a new project. So I'm going to call it, let's say, Project Future Robotics. And I'm going to create a new project. And basically, first thing you can see, we're going to have a controller. First thing we need to set basically the controller version. We can keep the version that's work visually suggesting, which is 8.6.12. So we can just click here. Okay. Good. We have the version set, as you can see, but we have only the controller. How do we know if it's a correct controller? So as you can see here on the right side, the supply voltage is 400. And the controller type matches basically with what we have. In case you're not sure, you can always go to your catalogs and then go into your KUKA controllers and choose the controller that suits your needs. So in our case, it was KRC4 with supply voltage of 400. That means the controller we have selected is correct. Now, if you remember, we are using the Quantec 2 series robot, and it was the KR250R2700. So now let's add the robot to our system. Normally, you can find the robots under the catalogs. So just click on the robots, and then you have to just navigate into the correct robot. So our is going to be the Quantec series 2, and the robots that we were showing is the KR250R2700-2. It's -2 because it's Quantec series 2. And then remember when I told you about the trafo name, so the product name, the one you have here, basically has to match with what you see on the robot. Because that means you're choosing the correct robot to the correct controller. And then you just simply drag and drop. And as you can see, the controller and the robot is connected. And basically, right now, we have the connection between the robot and the controller. However, as you can see, we have a few errors here. Number one is that we do not have any safety specified safety board, but we're going to ignore this message. And the last thing is we have to choose the proposal for your cabinet. Because when you go to your drive configuration, you can see that nothing is connected. We have the robot motors, we have our board inside the robot, but we don't have the KSP and KPP specified. So as you right click, you can go into configuration proposal. First of all, it's going to show that you're missing some data, but when you click into other proposals, you have to select the correct cabinet, in our case KRC4, and then you have to choose the correct configuration. So in our case, we had 3 packs. So we had 2 KUKA servo pack and 1 KUKA power pack. And the correct controller configuration has to be chosen from the options available here. So as you can see, you have your KUKA power pack 4D, 20, 4D. So this will be one of the options that you can select. And you have to look at the 3 drives that you have. And based on the drives that are available, you have to choose your correct configuration proposal. So on the picture that I showed you, there was only an example of one of the drives, and basically it was KSP 4D. So you have to choose one of the ones that has 4D in the middle. Of course, there are many configurations, and again, depending on your robot, you have to choose your correct configuration. For test purposes, we're just going to select this one, and we're going to do accept. And as you can see, basically the robot created your configuration in here. Now you can see that everything is connected. Everything is connected to your RDC. And as you can see here, like on the picture and inside the robot cabinet, you have your KSP4D, KSP4D, and KSP20. So that the 20 and 4D represents the last number on your packs. All right, and that will be all.
All right, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.